What's up, y'all? This your man, Marcus Harvey, and I'm here for a new episode of Barber Star. This season is going to be filled with nothing but celebrity barbers, barbers who impact communities, barbers who have set the stage to do things that we have never thought we could do, from innovators to creators to just sure out people who make sure that our day-to-day situation is great. Shouts out to all the barber stars, because every star needs a barber, but every barber ain't no star. But the ones we talking to are that. And you are that. So everybody who's watching this, shouts out to you guys. I know that you're watching this because you yourself are a barber star. All right, so this episode is going to be about me, the barber star. So let's get started. How did I get into barbering? How was I bit by the clippers? So the way I was bit by the clippers was my mom used to take me to this shop in Gwinnett County called Phil's Barbershop, right? At the time, I was going to a gentleman named Mario, and then I was going to a gentleman named D. So my mom would let me go get my hair cut by both of them, just whatever Saturday it was. One day, I found out that D and Mario moved and opened their own shop, right? So they had been working at the shop for some years. They finally decided to jump out on faith and open their own shop some miles down the road in a spot across the street from Greens Corner. If you guys are from Gwinnett County, you know about Greens Corner. So it was beautiful because my mom had the first time in her life, do I keep going to the place that I know to get the haircut from, or do I just go to his barbers and just follow his barber? So the great thing about that is just my mom didn't even have to make that decision, because the spot that they actually moved to, Crosscuts, was right connected to my apartment complex. This is how it's ordained by God. It was attached to the apartment complex. It's like the barbershop was on the main road on Jimmy Carter. My apartment was in Jimmy Carter as well. It's called Forestville. Shouts out to Forestville, all the people who went there and lived there. And what I would do was I would walk. My mom took me a few times, and then after a while, I'm starting to get older. I'm like 12, 12, 13. I'm starting to figure it out. I know the path through the woods. I've been doing that since I was like 9, 10. So, once I found a way, instead of having to walk all the way up to the street and go on the street, I found a back way through some woods to get to this barbershop called Crosscuts. And that's where it really started, man. I would just have I would try to see how fast I can get there. So I'm running through the woods, just trying to time myself, just having a good time. So the whole experience of going to the barbershop was an adventure to me. Not only just me using, me having to get a haircut, my mom saying, go get your haircut. And then me be like, okay. It's like I was put on a journey. You know them quest movies. You remember back in the day, they used to have movies that were just like about a quest, a ragtag group of people going to find the golden scepter or something like that. And my golden scepter just so happened to be going to the barbershop. So I get to the barbershop, start, watching, how everything's moving. And at the time, these gentlemen actually had, the first time I've ever seen this, they had a guy who was sweeping up hair, getting everything worked out, like, organizing the magazines, cleaning the bathrooms, getting the towels ready, different things of that nature. And of course, D was my barber at this time. So D is part owner with Mario. And I was like, yo, how the guy's name was Russell. Shouts out to Russell. He's an amazing barber, still in Gwinnett County to this day. So we're kind of the legacy of Crosscuts. Hey, Russell does a lot. He's amazing too. Long story short, Rusty was getting, Russ was getting a little older. So he's like, I'm starting to kick it with, he's starting to play on football teams, basketball teams. He's starting to do a lot. Starting, getting involved with girls. He's just like a normal teenager, 15, 16. He ain't trying to be at no barbershop all day. So that's where I came in. He's like, yo, Russell's about to leave. You wanna take over? I say, heck yeah, because I had been asking weeks and weeks, yo, what does he do? I see them giving him cash, and I'm like, yo, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that type of move. Man, he finally lets me get the opportunity. I start sweeping up hair. Now, mind you, I started on Thursday. That's the trainee day, so they put me on Thursdays, right? Put your boy on Thursdays, right? And from there, I just started learning more and more about the game. So I would just, learn how to straighten up their clippers, clean their clippers the right way. I started taking pride in organizing their stations, like reorganizing it to this day. I'm still like obsessed with making sure a station and a workspace is clean. So, I was charged with getting the magazines together, customer service. I would have to go down and make a lunch run, go down to the spot to go get them some food while they were cutting hair, to, all those things that you need. I was like the first barbershop assistant, right? So they finally was like, yo, man, put me on. I've been working there for years. Then I start seeing these guys cutting. It just one day just snapped. And I was like, oh, snap. I think I could do this one day. My homeboy, AJ Templin, yo, shouts out to AJ. Appreciate you, brother. My boy AJ's like, yo, man, like, I was like, yo, me and him were best friends one day. I was like, yo, bro, you should let me cut your hair. He's like, cut my hair? What you talking about? But I was like, nah, man, let me try it. So we had a pair of his mom's clippers. She had these, I don't know what kind of clippers these were. These were just some wall at the crib. I don't think it was his mom's. I think it was his older brother's, but his older brother wasn't living there no more, so he just left the clippers. So I'm like, okay, I could do this one clipper. I wanted to give him a fade. It ended up being a Baldie with a line up. So a Kobe Low was my first haircut. And from there, it was just bit by the clippers. So what was my barber experience becoming a professional, or AKA my school experience? So I went to school at Empire Beauty School. So at the time, man, the way I really got into it. So, I've been cutting hair. I was cutting hair, on the side, just catch a little quick little dollars. I can line somebody up, do a basic, even maybe taper them out a little bit on the sides, taper them out on the back. But that was pretty much the extent of my skill base, right? It really didn't strike me that I could be a professional at barbering until I moved back to Atlanta. Now, mind you, when I was I lived in Tennessee my whole high school career. From freshman all the way to senior, I went to Morristown East. Shouts out to the Hurricanes. We live better than all of you Trojans. Just wanted to put that out there. It's going to be a rivalry to the day we pass, baby. But no, shouts out to Morristown East, the Hurricanes, man. I started cutting, some of my homeboys' hair on the team, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But when I left from Morristown, I moved back to Atlanta. My mom had moved back to Atlanta because the reason why we had to move to Morristown is because she shattered her knee into a car accident. So we couldn't afford to live in Atlanta no more, so we had to move with my grandmother and grandfather in Morristown, Tennessee. My mom stayed for the first 2 years. She got her, rehabilitation, and then was able to, say, okay, I want to go back. So she moved back my senior year. So I stayed with my grandparents my senior year. Just had a good time, finished out my high school career. When I got to college, it was a different thing, right? So at the time, my brother was going to Morehouse, and I didn't know anything about Morehouse. I mean, nothing at all. I mean, and I had lived in Atlanta and never heard. I lived in Gwinnett. I'd never heard about like why you want to go to Morehouse. The legacy of Morehouse, right? Until my brother goes, right. So Osai goes to, my brother's name is Osai. So Osai goes to Morehouse, gets him a dope roommate. His roommate's name is Storm, and his sister's name is Haley, right? So Storm, Haley, and my brother lived in the villages of Eastlake. So all you Atlanta people, y'all know we lived on Club Side. Y'all already know what it is. So villages of Eastlake, man. I'm starting to see like my brother started cutting like a lot of the people at the church's hair, right? Him and Storm both were barbers. So Storm was cutting some of his line brothers' hair before he crossed. That's how he got into getting, put on, right? So he had Alpha. He cutting all the Alpha's hair. They coming over to the crib. At the time, I'm like sleeping on the couch with my brother, because I was going to Georgia Perimeter, which was closer if I lived with my brother than it would be with my mom, because my mom was on a totally different side of town. It's a straight shot if I just got on the bus to get to my nice little GPC, Georgia Perimeter College, right? So I'm at Georgia Perimeter, but I'm not motivated at all. I'm not really hype about it because I wanted to go to Morehouse immediately. Didn't have the finances or the grades. Well, I had the grades, but just not the finances. And not enough to get like a scholarship or any of that stuff. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and knock out, my prerequisites, go to, GPC, knock them out, and then I'll go to Morehouse my junior year and then kind of go from there, right? But I just was not motivated, man. At the time, I was really focused in church, really devoted to my church. How black churches are. We staying in church forever. So I really wasn't that interested in like the rigmarole of Georgia Perimeter. And it felt like a college, but then it didn't feel like it. It felt like 13th grade. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like I was going to a new, true experience. But not striking anything now. I just wasn't focused myself. This is how I can talk. I just wasn't focused. So because it wasn't something that I was truly interested in or really had a passion for, So I get put on academic probation for a semester. I was like, dang, this is like my sophomore year. They're like, hey, Christmas break, you know how we all come back? Maybe you should stay home for just a semester so you could kind of see if you really want to be here or not. So I was like, okay, cool. But the issue that I had was my dad told me that if I was not in school at the time, that he wasn't going to, help me with my rent or any of that stuff. So he didn't. So I was just like, all right, let me get in school, do something. My brother Osai was like, yo, man, I see you be cutting. So, at the time I started cutting a couple of people here, just watching them cut. And he's like, yo, man, I know that you're interested in barbering. Man, we should both go to barber school. Now, mind you, just do that at Morehouse. I said, hey, you going to go to barber school? You ain't going to go to no dang barber school. You're going to go strictly and kick it. You're going to go back to Morehouse, bro. Get you a nice degree. But for some odd reason, I was like, nah, my brother never lied to me. So I just was like, yeah, let's come to find out. This man was just setting me up to go to school. Just set me up to be respectable. He's like, yeah, man, let's go to barber school. He said, go research it and then, tell me what you find and then we go from there. I was like, okay, cool. So I mess around and I look around and no barber schools. I don't see none of the barbers. I don't see no barber schools I like. I didn't see none of them. They all felt like it was just hey, you ain't got nothing else going on in your life. Come on here and learn how to cut hair. It just didn't feel luxury. It didn't feel refined. It didn't feel like any type of, university feel, which I'm kind of used to. I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to the greatest with, at GPC, but it's still some type of feel of maturity. We're going to the next level. I didn't sense any of that stuff until I went to Empire. When I went to Empire, I was like, okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I know how to cut hair, but I don't know how to do hair. So let me figure out, and let me just go to cosmetology school. That way I can get a master's cosmetology license. I can be a stylist and a barber if I want to. And that's how that went, man. Went to Empire, did the hours, stayed, always was dressed up. And this is the thing, I was at the time, because I was so connected with my church, image was like the number one thing to me. And it was instilled in us, like, show your best. It was instilled in us, show your best, present yourself, to the way you want to be received, right? So, man, I'm like, I just dressed in a church suit. It was a church suit, but it was all black, because that was our colors, all black. Had like 3 or 4 black button-up shirts that I just kept getting copies of. And then I had just 2 suits, and I'll switch in and out between them. Sometimes I wear the blazer, sometimes I wouldn't, just to kind of keep a refined feel. Because I was like, yo, if I'm going to be in barbering or if I'm going to be in styling, because, at that time, now that you're starting to think about it, like stuff is starting to kind of come back to you. You're starting to realize, oh, okay, I might have been meant to do this, and I might have been positioned to do something of this magnitude, man. Just everybody around me being very supportive. And it's like, oh yeah, you can actually do that. Got me to finish an Empire, and that's why I'm a master cosmetologist. Who would I say are the most instrumental people in my barbering career? Well, I have a long list, and it's like a list because every stop I make, I get a new tool. I get a new lease on life. I get a new blessing to show the world, or the world shows me, and that I can bring to the world. And it's just cool. So let's go ahead and start. Xavier Story, my cousin Xavier Story was the first person to give me clippers, my own pair of clippers. He gave me my first trimmers, which were the little peach and its joints with the little small head on it. Man, listen, that clipper stayed on fire because I'm using it for a long time. It gets hot. So shouts out to Xavier, because he's the one who first pushed me to be like, yo, man, this is something that can always give you some money, some that you always have great conversations with people. You always have. It's just a different debt that people are in when they get their hair cut with their barber versus like, yo, it's not just a exchanging of funds, but it's an exchanging and changing of mentalities. Typically, your barber, if you notice, like your barber is the person who kind of like not only can like see you in your worst, but also knows you at your best. And that's in every sense, even with the conversations that y'all have over time, they see you at your best and they see you at your worst. So the dope thing about that is that they're able to, you're able to kind of chip away and see people for who they supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? not just their potential, but the potential realized. So shouts out to Xavier's story. Fast forward, Osai. I just told you guys about the Osai Harvey story. My brother Osai completely fooled me into getting into barbering. Completely. I'm talking about I had no clue I was gonna get into no barbering. And this boy lied to me like, hey man, let's go be barbers. Man, you ain't gonna be no barber, but he got me in that school, man. So shouts out to him. Once I was in school, man, amazing teachers, Miss Parker. Hey, she showed me so much love. Miss Nolan. Miss Nolan, you guys will see later on, she will be somebody who's very instrumental in my life in the future too. So she was dope. She was dope. Miss Nolan would not let me be subpar, would not let me not realize my potential. So shouts out to Miss Nolan. While I was in school, we had the opportunity to get somebody to speak at our school. This young lady came. She was a stylist, a very established stylist, an amazing stylist. Her name was Karen Owens. Her name is Karen Owens, not was, but her name is Karen Owens. When I tell you, this is one of her lines. She could sell ice to an Eskimo. She can grow hair on an orange. That's how good she is in her job. So, yo, man, it's just funny to see how amazingly blessed my path has been. So, when she came and spoke, I was just so enamored by what she was saying, like the passion she had, she knew she would like. You ever seen somebody who just knew they were dope and they always had this face on them? That's how she always had. Like, question me about anything. I'm dope. Question me about anything. I got it. Ask me anything about hair. I got you. So I was just like, wow, this was just like impressive. So the day that she spoke, I was like her one of my classmates, Bianca, Bianca would get her hair done by Karen. So that's how Karen got to come up to Empire. And she was just like with Bianca started working for her, right, as an assistant. And so I reached out to Bianca. I was like, yo, Bianca, I'd love to come work with y'all. Man, don't you know, me, Bianca, and a brother named Troy became Karen Owens' assistants. Now, when you work for Karen Owens, it's like working for a samurai or a sensei or somebody like that. The things that you don't think that you're learning, you're learning. You understand what I'm saying? So she made sure, like, she was super detailed. Like, I couldn't do the relaxers wrong. I had to do them fast. I had to do them right. I had to get them set. I had to do the shampoos correctly. I had to do the blow drying correctly, directed the right way, over directing this way. I'm gonna style it this way, so I need you to do it this way. If you style it that way, now I gotta fight. I mean, she would be on me. So, how to do how everything in your preliminaries sets you up in a masterful way. While I was working with Karen, a gentleman started working at her shop that she had been working with for years. His name was Quincy Harmon. Q Harmon. Shouts out to Q. Q was the guy who showed me how to really be detailed. Q used to, before color really came out and all that other stuff, Q was the type of guy who could make your haircut look like velvet. Chef's kiss. Shouts out to Q. Oh my God. Great. One of the greatest barbers I ever known. I'm talking about designs, fades. The thing that I really got from him was skill and detail and determination to whatever you send out that door has to be with your signature on it. And, though he may sometimes have you in there a little long, when you got out that chair that you're going to get every compliment as soon as you stepped into your car is going to compliment you. Even if it didn't have no voice activation, it's going to close the door, but you're fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how this joint was. So shouts out to Q. As I started growing and growing and growing, I realized, all right, at Karen's, I want to get around more barbers because iron sharpens iron, and I think that's one thing that we all need to understand and learn. Iron sharpens iron. So there's a lot of times when you, as a barber, you might believe like, yo, I can really go out and do this on my own, which you can. I'm not saying that you can't, but what I will say, or in addition to that, you can definitely do it. But in addition to that, the main thing that I want you guys to realize is that iron sharpens iron. If you're not around sharp people, you will get dull. If you're not around sharp barbers, sharp businessmen, sharp businesswomen, just sharp people in every area, your product will reflect that. Your product reflects what you ingest. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're always having mediocrity be something of your diet, then you're only going to produce mediocrity. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes down to that, you always want to be around amazing people. So that's why I started working at Tony's. Tony's was across the street from one of the hospitals on Peachtree, right? So this is by I think it's the Market Center where the spines are and stuff like that, right beside that Chick-fil-A. And for years, I worked there. The thing that really got me super tight was because I was working between the two best barbers in the shop. And when I say best barbers, I'm just talking about sharpness, how their clients interacted with them, how their clients thought of their craft, how they really, really, really were like invested in how these barbers cut. Was Dave Sheriff, God rest him, my OG Dave Sheriff, my God, great dude, and Tyson. Dave Sheriff was the first person that really put me in the mindset of being a luxury barber. Like, not just a barber, but just a luxury barber, going above and beyond what is asked or what is done even in the shop that you work in. This gentleman would have, he was the first person that I knew, him and this gentleman named Bam, because Bam was also there. Bam was he was the other monster. Bam worked on the other end, though, of the shop. So I'm in between. Tyson's right here. I'm right here. Dave's right here. And then Bam's maybe 2, 3 more seats down. But those two guys, those three guys, Bam, Tyson, and Dave were the first people that I actually saw doing celebrities on a regular. The time Tyson was cutting Mace's hair and a whole bunch of other baseball players. I think all the Braves players. He had the Braves players on lock. Dave had all the business dudes. He's very brash. He was a, New York kind of dude. So he was on that type of level, that type of time, right? And then Bam was cutting Jamal Lewis at the time. And so he would travel to Cleveland and back and forth, back and forth. So he was the first person to just be like, where I'm in my mind, like, these people are actually being flown out, traveled. And it was just something that I always admired. So I was like on their shoulders, how they cut hair, how they presented to their clients, how they talk to their clients, what kind of offers they give. Dave was the first person that I saw who was doing memberships. Like, he had cats paying monthly memberships to get a haircut, and you still had to pay them, but you had to pay a monthly membership to make sure that your slot was secured. And he was somebody who just really, those three were just people who pushed me into the celebrity mindset until I started working at Salon Ramsey, and that's when it went up. At the time, like I said, I'm cutting in between two people who are 15-year vets in barbering, 10, 15-year vets in barbering have, really made a name for themselves. I'm getting good, but sometimes my client will jump into that chair, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you just weren't here. Oh, sorry. That little, you knew I was here, bro. Stop playing with me. You knew I was here. Stop. Don't even play with me like that. You knew I was here. And so, what's funny about that is, like, as I continuously move and continuously grow, I go to this cat called Ramsey Shepherd, Salon Ramsey. At the time, a gentleman who used to work with me at Karen's was working at Ramsey's, and Ramsey was expanding large. I'm talking about he had 5 locations, 5 different places of the city, one in Roswell, just all over the place, right? So he was just like somebody who I was like, dang, man, I want to work with him. Started work. So the guy, Brandon, started telling him, hey, man, this barber, I'm telling you, Marcus is nice. And at the time, I was doing designs on Brandon's hair, and I was doing color too. So I was doing HD color before anybody was really doing that in the barber game. Now, people were killing it. I'm not saying that I was the first. Don't even take it like that. But on a day-to-day situation, I was doing HD haircuts. Before they were called HD haircuts, I just framed it as HD. I was like, yeah, it's a high definition haircut. The color enhances the haircut. And from there, man, he was like, yo, who cutting your hair? Everything's super sharp. Marcus is that guy, I'm telling you. So finally, man just started like hitting me up like, hey, bro, I got a chair over here, got a chair over here, got a chair over here. Wherever way you want to get in, man, get in where you fit in. We got you, bro. We got you, dog. And so I was like, heck yeah. I was like, super, super duper, yeah. Super duper, yeah. So I'm starting to cut hair there. I'm shampooing because at the time, I know how to shampoo from Karen's. I took that over to Tony's. I'm the only person shampooing. Guys are telling me, hey, man, you wasted too much time, man. Just get them in and get them out. You don't need all that shampoo and stuff, but I don't know where they at now. I know where I am. it's because of the shampoos. Like, it was just an extra layer to allow people to know, yo, man, this haircut is super refined. You know what I'm saying? So take that over to Ramsey's. Ramsey's massively impressed. At the time, he's expanding so largely. Like, yo, let me go ahead and give you some. Let me go ahead and mess around and get these. Get a shop. Get you in the shop, bro, and you can start working in the Buckhead one. So I started working in the Buckhead one. He starts sending me a lot of his clients, and these are just his everyday clients who come weekly. He's like, hey man, you need a, I didn't have an appointment book at that time. People call me and I'm like, yeah, pull up, And then, it started getting to the point where it was like, hey man, create your book. So I started creating a scheduling book. People started booking it ahead of time. Then it grew from there. And then, my growth just boom, 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 just kept going. And he was like, bro, all my clients love you because I'm about to retire. He said, I got one more client for you. And that's when he gave me Nas. And the rest is history, as they say. How I started cutting Nas. I know a lot of people be like, yo, man, how'd you even get that blessing? Nas is the God MC, man, the greatest out here. He killing it, man. That nobody touches this guy. And mind you, like, when this is happening, I'm a church kid. So I don't know about no dang Nas. Yeah, you better Nas yourself to the altar. That's how it was. But randomly, before I started cutting them, Nas lived in Atlanta. And I was like, one day I randomly was in Lenox Mall and I ran into him. Me and Karen were getting some lunch. And I ran into him at the Adidas store. I said, oh, snap. I kind of knew. I was like, yo, this is the guy who's been, they said we need to get up. I walk up to him. I had these cards that were bookmarks because I wanted to get a specific type of clientele. And I was like, yo, if I'm passing out a bookmark to somebody, the first statement was gonna be like, hey, yeah, man, you look like you're an avid reader. You look like you really got some wisdom to you. I'm a barber. Here's my card. Use it as a bookmark. Anytime you read, I'm like, okay, I need a cut. You gonna see me right there. So I was putting them in bookmarks. So I gave him a bookmark and I gave him the same speech. I was like, heard you read a lot, man. I know that you're an avid reader, man. Just holler at me one day if you need a cut. Right. So he's like, oh, okay, peace, God. Yeah, that's what's up. Peace. I got you. He ain't never hit me up until one day Ram hit me up for him. Right. So Ram didn't feel like doing no more. He wasn't like, yo, I'm just going to follow my vision and open these shops, continuously open shops and just move that way. I don't really want to deal with cutting hair, traveling like that. I just want to focus on opening shops and start this franchise. Wanted to start a franchise model. I seen him do it. I saw what he was trying to do. I see what he was trying to do, right? Fast forward, he's like, man, hey, I don't feel like cutting, dog. I need you to get my boy's son, get son right. I'm like, okay, who that? He said, Nas, man. Okay. I was like, okay. Okay, cool. So one day he calls me. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I didn't have no kids. Me and the wife were married at this point for like 3-4 years. So we have a routine. I wasn't tripping. I stay up late. He hits me up. I need a haircut. Can you get to the shop? And this is what I used to always think. Just like from when I was a kid, how my shop was always right around the corner from where I live because I could just get there in that fast speed. I would easily be able to say stuff like, man, you know what? I got you. So he said, yo, man, son need a cut. He's in the city. Yo, could you pull up to the joint and open the shop up and cut him? I was like, heck yeah. Cut him. The first time I cut him, it was cool. It was late. So, he wasn't really paying attention to the cut. He had a whole bunch of his homies. He wasn't really into the cut. He was just like, I just need to get it done, So I'm cutting his hair. We having a little small talk, but not too much small talk. And I'm just cutting his hair. Man, I end up cutting his hair. He dashed me up, pays me. Or no, Ramsey pays me. And then he's like, I'll holler at you. He comes back, but he gets a cut from a different barber in Ramsey's shop. Because now at this point, Ramsey has 5 shops across the city. And he has probably 50 to 60 barbers and stylists all collectively on the roster. So, of course, there's more people, there's like, and then just know good old Nas. Sometimes he just be like, I want to try new things. So he tried another barber. The other barber cut his hair, was pushing his line back, had him on the side because he had them dog clippers. So he's pushing his line back. He hits me back up. He's like, hey, man, my line has been pushed back. I'm trying to grow it back out. Asked me for another late cut. I do this little fade technique where I faded it to the point to where I can get that growth, that growth pattern back in. line him up as if nothing happened, if nobody pushed him back. He was like, oh, this is fresh. And then he asked for a design. He said, oh, I heard you do designs. So he asked for a design. I put a design in his head. He was like, oh, this shit fresh. And then it just kept growing. So then it's just like, yo, then he starts hitting me on his own. Hey, man, come out to the house. Then he's like, hey, yo, come cut my, Jung need a cut. Come cut Jung. You know, we all over here. Boom. Then it turns into, you know, I cut my homeboy Gabe. You know, the first time I cut Gabe, you know, I was like, Gabe has a unique haircut sometimes. So it wasn't that much unique, but I didn't really kill it the first time. I was like, nah, man, come back. I want you to come back and I'm going to get you really, really right. He was like, okay, cool. Obviously he respected it because he knew I wasn't going to just play him like, oh no, that's fresh. What you talking about? I was like, I like it a little bit better if I had a little bit more time and I could have done this and I could have done that. He said, oh, okay. He rocked with it. And so that's one of the lessons that I'll teach you guys about how to really stay connected with the people who are around the people that you want to be around, right? I started getting Gabe fresh, you know, and then later on I started hearing that they started calling me like, yo, man, we're about to go on this tour. Love, you know, see what your availability is. You know, hey, we're going to Hawaii. Want to know what your availability is. I was like, heck yeah. And the rest is history. 10, 15 years later, you know, I'm still cutting them, you know, and it's just cool to see what that has blessed me with. Cutting knives has probably been one of the most impactful things in my career, and I got two other people too. But cutting knives was like probably one of the most impactful things that I've ever done in my life, for the sheer fact that cutting him put me onto other people, and just knowing that you have that stamp that if you cutting, you know, Nasir fresh and getting him right, and he rocks with it, then you're a beast of a barber. So just going off of that, man, it really took my confidence level to another level. I started getting a lot of notoriety on, you know, Barbershop Connect back in the day when that was just like really popping as far as reposting your pics and stuff like that. It was just cool, man. It was just a cool experience. I got to see the world. I mean, possibly 7 times over. There's places in Paris that I know how to get to if I just get dropped off anywhere in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to move around in Tokyo. I know how to move around in Amsterdam. I know how to move around in the UK. All these spots like have been a blessing because, you know, somebody decided to write a sentence that rhymed and to continue to do that. So I say that with everybody, man. Like, the thing that I've admired and learned the most from Nas is like, just start, just start, just start. And not only just start, but like, you've been raised to be great. You've been called to be great. You just got to find what your calling is. Mine was barbering. Because y'all know I'm funny. Y'all know I could be on that stage too, which I am on that stage. So shouts out to that. But yeah, that's how, man, Nas has helped me get to the point to where I was able to, you know, see museums that I would have never seen, which sparked the idea of the Musa Layer, you know, putting me in contact with cats that were in the NBA. His best friend at the time was Chris Webber. And, you know, he put me on the web. Web put me on to, you know, TNT, all that stuff. So, you know, cutting Nas helped me build the layer, helped me build Barber Star, and just helped me build a great reputation of somebody who's more than just a celebrity barber, but a barber who cares about his clients, no matter if they're on a billboard or if they're at the if they're at the crib, whatever it may be. I'm here to assist and help and make you your best. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about, you know, my experience with Nas, man. Shouts out to him. We were in Buffalo one time and I was cutting his hair. This was maybe like 2-3 years into being his full-time barber. And he like was getting a cut for me. He's like, looked up. He's like, hey man, I rocks with you, dog. He said, and I want you to know this, that everybody who's ever cut my hair has blown up and turned into something that they didn't even think they could be. And I already know for sure you one of those guys. So I was like, hey man, I feel like I just got a code. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how they say back in the day, the code was if you shook, there's certain people, a code that people had. Okay, so you know back in the day they were like, yo, there was a code for all the people who shook Frank Sinatra's hand. Like if you shook Frank Sinatra's hand, you were a part of this club that nobody else is part of, and y'all had a specific type of rules. Same with me and with Nas. Like if you've cut Nas hair, there's a specific order that you in now. You know what I'm saying? You're in a good class. You're in that handshake Frank Sinatra only, you know what I'm saying, type class. If you can give him a fade, get him cut up, get him lined up, and it's a blessing. And I've been able to not only be blessed cutting his hair, but I've also been able to be a blessing to other people who've had that on their bucket list. You know, that's what Suprema's here, because, you know, we're always in tune on giving back, giving. We're not stuck on just keeping stuff by ourselves. We're no gatekeepers. We're only here to help you get to we're like almost like the elevator operator, if you will. We just get you to the next level. That's all we do. We stay where we at and we go up. We can go up. We can get you all the way to the top. So that's what we're trying to do, man. So I've been able to be blessed to, you know, when I wasn't able to cut Nas, I knew great trusted people that I rocked with, you know, from Kenny Duncans to Chaz, you know, to Hawk, to Donato, to so many different people that I've been able to just be a conduit for them to have a bucket list checked off their joint. And that's what I feel like has been my call. It's not necessarily to get people always fresh, but my call is to like get people's lives to the next level, whether it be somebody who seemingly is more popular than me. When it comes to a celebrity or something like that, the conversations that we have in my chair elevate them to another level as they elevate me to another level. So I think it's just one of those things where you have to keep in mind that it's a blessing to be in these positions. You know what I'm saying? And all these positions are not just for you. This is for other people too. All these blessings are not just for you. This is for other people too. You know, all these ways made are not just for you, but it's for other people as well. So yeah, man, shouts out to Nasir Jones, man. The great Nas, man. I thank God that I met you, bro, and I appreciate you. And yeah, man. So yeah, that's what it was. All right. So how did I get on by cutting Chris Webber's hair? All right. So I don't know if you guys heard, but at the time, Nas and Chris Webber were real tight, even to the point to where Chris Webber has produced a song for Nas that Nas put on his album. Yeah, that's that one. You know what I'm saying? That one, man. You didn't know that either. I didn't know that until I knew that. You know what I'm saying? But it was great. We were at Ramsey was opening one of his major shops, right? The one that was going to be on 10th Street. Like, this was going to be the commission shop. This was going to be the shop that was going to change the world. Like, it was, I mean, and it did, because it had so many killers. It had whatever you're doing in the service industry. If you worked on the 10th Street one, you felt like, oh, I'm accomplished, right? So he had a grand opening, right? Because he's starting to move all of his businesses over to one area, which is going to be downtown. He's on 10th Street. We're on 10. We're like by 10 side apartments at that time. What happens is I come to the after party. Mind you, I'm not necessarily a super partier like that. I don't be, you know, I throw parties. I do attend some, but I'm not like, if I can find a way to not have to go to something, I will not go to something. I just won't. But I decided to go to this one. The energy was high. I mean, everybody was having a good time. DJ was rocking. I come in there and Son there. I was like, oh snap, what's up, Son? Come over and dap him up. Say, what's up, man? Had a little, I forgot what the running joke was at that time. Hit him with a little running joke. He falls out in tears. He's standing beside Webb, you know. He's like, he taps Webb. He's like, hey man, this is the dude I was telling you about. This brother is hilarious. And he be getting me fresh, man. Y'all should chop it up. And now, I didn't know Nas, but I do know some Chris Webber. I do know Chris Webber. I'm a hooper. So I'm like over here, not trying to look all like, oh my gosh, it's Chris Webber. I'm just like, oh, what's up, man? I'm a big fan. And this is something that I've always had. Like, I've always been able to treat the people that I admired like they were just regular people. Because the regular people that I know that I admire, I treat like regular people. So it's not a hard stretch or nothing. It's just an easy maneuver. Well, I was like, okay, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, what's up, man? Good to meet you. He daps me up. His hand covers this whole arm. I was like, God dog, bro. Why? He dapped me up and it took my whole hand. So I'm like, hey, bro. He's like, man, let me get your number. I said, cool. Gave my number. He hits me up just so I could save something. I said, oh, snap. This is really going to possibly happen. So it's like, yeah, man, anytime you need a cut, man, I got you, bro. Like, and at the time where we were at, the studio for NBA TV was down the street. Y'all. Down the street. It's down the street. And so I'm like, you know, oh yeah, bro, I can always just move on down there. First day, man, I get a call from Webb. He's like, yo, man, I'm going to be doing this show on Tuesdays. Can you come through before I go on just to line me up? You know, Webb would give me like 20 minutes, at the max to do the whole haircut because he'd get there and he's like, okay, I got to go. I got to get on the broadcast. So I'm over there cutting his hair. You know, we're having great conversations. First season, I just give him a regular haircut. He had a fro that he didn't want it to get touched at this point. He just wanted a strong line. I was giving him a nice little strong line. The NBA season ends. I was like, oh, thank you so very much for letting me cut your hair this whole season. Like every Tuesday I was there. Every Tuesday I was there. It was just like, oh, clockwork. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. People were like, oh, I like the lineup that Webb got. He getting fresh. Come back the next year. He's like, hey, dog, I think I'm going to cut it off. Because, you know, at this time, we cool. So I'm like, yo, man, I've been trying to get you super fresh. I'm talking about, like, straight out the oven fresh. Like, loaf of bread out the oven fresh. Get my guy. I'm like, yo, man, hey. He's like, go ahead, do what you want to do. I said, say what? I said, so we ain't going to do no waves. I don't want to break you down all the way there. Right now, let's do this curl move. Because at the time, the curl top was going crazy. New dread had just dropped. People were on that, and you know, New Dread was killing at that time. I'm talking about demolishing. So, you know, I given it to a couple people. They loved the look. I was like, but I know who's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect on. I put it on Webb. I faded the sides. I brought all the hair down to like a babyish fro. Faded the sides out to, I call like a nice little infinity fade. You know what I'm saying? Like where it just dies, right? Faded them all the way there. Faded the back out. Curled the rest. Put a strong line. And at this time, now I'm starting to be like, he's comfortable. So now he's letting me do everything. So I'm like, yo, let me throw a little enhancements on here real quick. Let me just put a little bit. Man, I put some fibers. Now, mind you, this is the day back in the day when people weren't using a lot of fibers. I put the fibers on them. That line looked so sharp and crisp. He went out on that, and I'm gonna find it. Oh, it's this picture. Yeah, it's this video right here. Yeah. That video. Yeah, that video. Okay. So as you can see, I'm talking about I got this man looking like he ain't never. Twitter goes bananas. Like this is the first time we've ever seen a viral haircut go crazy online. People like, yo, who the hell just cut Chris Webber's hair? I ain't never seen that haircut. How do you do? I'm talking about how do you do that? His line's so sharp and fresh. You can cut coke off that thing. It's like, dang. I'm talking about some of the most hilarious lines on Twitter. Boom, 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 boom. He gets off, and the next week he comes back. He's like, bro, the haircut was. I said, I can do it again. And from then on, man, I'm talking about I was getting him fresh. Every week, people saying stuff crazy on. Every week, somebody saying something fresh on, like every Tuesday. The commentators started saying stuff. Then the players, when they be doing the call, when they be calling in, they would start saying like, yo, bro, you fresh? Who cut your hair up? And he was like, hey, Marcus. So, man, he puts me on to, at that second season that I'm cutting his hair, he starts putting me on to everybody. He takes me to the All-Star game in Houston. For the first time, I flew out there, got to go to the All-Star experience. I'm just like a deer in headlights, just looking all over the place, right? And it just was like, wow, this is what my life could be like. End of the season, man, it starts getting crazy. At the end of the season, you know, they start doing awards, right? They did these things called the Webby Awards or thing, not the Webbies, but it was like a Web Award, like a Weber Awards situation for, you know, different players. And Steph Curry, this is like when he first starts having that like those breakout seasons. He comes through. I cut Steph up for this joint, and he's just dapping me. He's like, "Oh man, this is cool." His wife loved it. This is when they just had one kid, so this is how far you know. Hey, they love the haircut, and then from there, man, people just started one by one reaching out to me, one by one reaching out. Hey man, I'm in Atlanta. I need a cut. That same year, end of the season, like I said, we started the playoffs. So he starts traveling for the playoffs. He brings me out on a couple of occasions. He brings me out for the finals. You know, I'm having him fresh. And then it just started going from there. The following year is when I met Grant Hill. Grant Hill retires from the NBA after a storybook career at Duke. You know, fights through, you know, amazing adversity as a pro. You know, rookie of the year. has an injury, but still pushes through that injury that could have ended it and plays to like 17, 16 years. I don't know how many years this man played. He played a lot. So finally he retires and he joins the NBA TV crew. I cut web. Same routine. I'm at Tuesday. I'm there on Tuesday. Cut web. Now, grant you, I didn't even know that Grant and Webb grew up together. They've known each other since they were like teenagers, like 12, 13 and stuff, right? So they just have great camaraderie, right? Grant's like, yo, so your guy cuts. He's like, yeah, man. Hey, Marcus, this is Grant. Grant Marcus. He gonna get you right, man. I don't know if y'all saw before Grant retired. He had an all right cut, a smooth cut, nice cut. He's a clean cut guy. So he can be bald, he can be close to bald, but you never knew Grant Hill for a specific type of haircut. I mean, he is one of those. The Duke fade back in the day was definitely one of those things. But you never heard anybody be like, oh man, these are the freshest cats. And then I started putting that cut on them, that famous fade. And man, when I tell you, it went from 0 to 60. Grant just started taking me all over the place too. To Final Fours, All-Star weekends, NBA Finals. I would fly out to his house and just cut his hair, man. And it's been a blessing, man. The things I've learned from this man has been amazing, to the point to where I've even seen some of the most historic things happen while I'm cutting his hair. He got the call that he's now the owner of the Hawks in my chair. He got the call that he's the president of USA Basketball in my chair. It's just like, these are some dope, things to see him just say, hold on a second, and then come back. Like, it's a done deal. He don't tell you what he's working on until it happens. And when I say it's just been an amazing ride, he's put me on to a lot of people, because Grant was the one who actually put me on to LeBron, and that was amazing. So, shouts out to Grant Hill, man, an amazing, amazing client of mine that I'm forever thankful for, man. Shouts out to you, bro. I started cutting hair for television. Okay, start like this. I'm at Salon Ramsey. I'm cutting one of the guys' hair. He's like, yo, man, I'm about to be doing some PA work for the show called Sunday Best. It's about to start coming out. It's like the reality. It's like the gospel version of American Idol. Man, one of the greatest blessings of my life. Now, this one I do know. Because now, you remember before, I was like, yo, I don't know any of these guys. I don't know Nas like that. I mean, I know Grant Hill. I know Weber. I'm a basketball player, but it's nothing like that gospel, man. So getting Sunday Best made me be like, oh my gosh, I'm able to cut some of the people that I'm listening to right now, man. Like, I'm talking about I was the barber for all the hosts, and all the guest people who come in, and then I would be cutting for the band. Because we had one other barber, shouts out to him. But the first 2-3 years, they had me like cutting everybody, and it was just like, I need another barber. But it's been a blessing, man. Sunday Best was probably one of the greatest times in my life. Those seasons, me just being able to go over there, set up, and just be a part of history. So many of the main gospel people out right now, I cut their hair before they were even known. Some of the main people who are gospel now, I cut their hair when they got super known on Sunday Best. Having relationships with with Jonathan McReynolds, having relationships with Kurt, having relationships with Donnie McClurkin, relationships with Little John, who was the best drummer back in the day. He's still a monster, still a killer. I mean, he used to do tours with Janet Jackson and Jill Scott and all them other folks. So he's Little John, that guy. But I mean, cutting hair for all the people, all the background singers, man. Shouts out to all of y'all. So shouts out to my Sunday Best family. I love y'all. I miss y'all. We got to get back up. We got to all get back up, because those are some wonderful years, man. Some wonderful years. So when I was able to do that, that was really something that like pushed my career to the next level. Because now, not only am I in the the rap space, but I'm not only in the basketball space, but I'm not only in the gospel space, but I'm in all these spaces now. So music, television, because being on Sunday Best, now I'm in the production side. And that's where I really caught another great break. One day, this time I'm cutting hair. I'm really becoming super known in the city. Like, people know, They know all the other barbers, but I'm in that list too. Oh, you know Marcus? Yeah, I know Marcus. Marcus is cold. Like I start hearing things like that. Like, oh, Marcus is cold. Oh my gosh, people think I'm cold like that. So yeah, you don't really want to work with a Marcus. So I'm like, heck yeah, man. It's just amazing. So at the time I'm cutting my homeboy, Dylan Spratt, who I also do my TV show, Ghost Brothers with. We'll talk about that too. My boy Dalen Spratt, man, I was cutting his hair every Friday. Dalen coming and get a fresh haircut, fresh haircut. And I'm like, what's up? Oh, cutting his hair every week. One day he's like, hey man, you know what? Somebody asked me about your haircut the other day. Because at the time he was working on the Monique show. The Monique show had Rodney Perry as the people, and then he also had this young lady named Shay, who was the head wardrobe. Her husband is RonReaco Lee. RonReaco Lee was at a recording of the Monique show. He sees Dalen. Dalen's doing wardrobe as well. He works hand in hand with Shay. He sees Dalen's haircut. He's like, oh my God, Dalen, who cut your hair? And I'm like, I'm looking for a barber. Who cut your hair? He's like, oh man, my boy Marcus, man, he can get you right. He can get you all the way good, man. And he gonna get you right. He's like, okay, cool. What, man, I need to get up with him. Dalen comes to the next week. He's like, yo, man, RonReaco even asked about your cut, man. The cut you did last week was on something because this man asked me about this cut. So I was like, oh, snap, yeah. RonReaco wants to get a cut for me. I don't hear nothing, right? I was like, did you get my number? He said, yeah, I gave him your number. He said, okay. I said, oh, okay, cool. So I was just flattered that he wanted a haircut for me. That was cool enough for me. One day, again, at Lennox, getting some lunch at the Farmer's Basket. Y'all know about that Farmer's Basket. Get you some good videos at the Farmer's Basket. This is not an advertiser for Farmer's Basket, unless y'all want it to be an advertiser. But no, Farmer's Basket, I was over there getting my little chicken, my little cabbage, and my little rice. That's all I like. Cabbage, rice, and the chicken, right? Man, I'm over there. I'm in a line, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, God, this is God right here. Out of nowhere, I see, I see my boy RonReaco walk up here. He's ordering. I'm like, what kind of timing is this? I said, hey, what's up, man? I let him order. So I didn't want to get in between a man and his ordering of his Farmer's Basket because that's a big no-no. Boy leaves out, right? He leaves out. We got his order, and I'm like, hey, man, real quick, I just want to just say, first off, I love your work, man. You're an amazing actor. And I think my homeboy, Dalen, I think you asked him about a haircut that I did. I'm his barber. I'm Dalen's barber, Marcus. He said, oh, snap, that's you? I said, yeah, man. Now I'm starting to get, that's me. Shots. That's like, bruh, I need to get a cut from you. I was like, I'm available this week. He said, I can't do this week. What's up on next week? Get him in, cut his hair, do a fade. He loves it. He starts coming back often, right? This is before his season of Let's Stay Together starts up. So he's just, this is just between the break of the seasons, right? He's like, he gets another, he's like, man, he just comes to me every week. Then he starts filming again. And he comes to me every other week now because he has a barber on set. But I was having to kind of repair some things. You know what I'm saying? All of us have the same thing. If you cut every day on a set, there's going to be some type of off on continuity a lot of times sometimes, right? But the guy was lit, right? He was cutting on Let's Stay Together and he was cutting on the Ricky Smiley show. So they felt like he didn't have time. That's how folks feel when they get on sets. They do not like barbers having freedom to go from point to point. They want you to be there. They want you to see what my haircut looks, what your haircut stays like. Especially if you read the script and the script has action, you need to be there. If it don't have no action, sometimes you can't skate. You know what I'm saying? But they prefer that you stay there. So RonReaco is like, yo, the guy's going back and forth. I ain't hating on it, but he's missed 2 days. So he's gonna miss 2 days next week. Can you fill in for him? Say, oh yeah. So fit in for my boy. I fit in, right? Go up to the show, cut his hair. He's like, yo, you gotta use these fibers to keep continuity because he cuts my hair a certain way. And I needed to match. And the guy Bert, who was the other star of the show at the time, God rest his soul as well. God rest the dead. He also was getting a haircut. So they were using fibers. This is before I didn't even know what a fiber was. I didn't know what an atomizer was. He's like, yeah, they use this thing. You don't use it. He does. He was like, Ron, he doesn't use the. Yeah, it kind of fills in, and that Actors, for as much as they are students of words, sometimes they can't find the words to describe the simplest things like their haircut. This fills in the gaps. That's all I need. I needed to just fill in the gaps. Gives a nice little, a strong line look. And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't know how to use it the first time. I'm just spraying. So I take the atomizer and I'm like, I start using the fibers on everybody just so I can learn how to work it off the, off the off the flyer, spray it on the flyer, it bounces off and hits the hair, little small, little subtle moves. So now I'm starting to get nice at it. So the second time that I get to come and cut his hair, I know what to do now. And he's like, oh yeah, y'all got me fresh. You got me fresh, Marcus. Fast forward, they're not going to bring Let's Stay Together back. And I just started, I'm like, oh my gosh. The dude was like, yeah, you can go ahead and get that gig. I was like, oh man, I thought I was going to be on a TV show for real. Which it was, because that was the first time I ever, besides like I did Sunday Best, but this was like, oh, you're going to be on in another show, right? Man, oh, when I tell you, I just started going crazy on these fibers. I started learning how to use them. My boy RonReaco keeps coming back again. He's back in the shop. It's like, hey man, I think I got something new coming up, man. He's like, just he said, don't say too much. And that's what I'm learning from entertainers, actors, athletes, businessmen. Never speak on what you're going to do, because when it falls through, you're going to be mad and now you got to go back. So they never tell me, if it's until it is. They'll give me a little hint like something might happen, but it might not, right? I mess around. When I tell y'all, I mess around and I get to, it's like 3-4 months later, or not 3-4 months, like a month later. He's like, yo, bro, God, what? The show survives Remorse. And from there, it was on like Donkey Kong. As a result of doing Survivor's Remorse, I got to cut RonReaco Lee, who was the number one on the show. I got to cut the up and coming great actor at the time, and now he's a monster, Jesse T. Usher. And I get to cut Mike Epps and any other fellas who come on this show. Bruh, when I tell you I was lighting this Reggie fade up, then I started lighting that Cam fade up, then I started killing Mike's haircut. He started loving it. And now I got two new clients who were in two worlds too. So it was just amazing from there. Survivor's Remorse was some of the best work that I've ever been able to do, and have ever done. And it was just a perfect timing, because the character in which because RonReaco is very particular on how he looks for each role and each character. This character was very clean cut, was exactly how I made the haircut. Refined, faded, transitions beautifully, but yet strong and bold. And that's what his character was. Reggie was strong and bold. And that's what kind of cut I put on him. And that's when I first started seeing that, like, you can control things, man. You can control things with what you're doing, bro. So, yeah, that's how I got on with Survivor's Remorse. And you guys know, go back and look at that show, man. 4 seasons, 5 seasons? It's 5 seasons. 4 seasons. It's 4 seasons. All 4 seasons, man. Check it out, man. Shouts out to Erica, and shouts out to Charles Gregory. We love y'all. We miss y'all. So yeah, man. Survivor's Remorse was a blessing. I was doing all that at the same time, cutting Grant Hill, cutting Nas, going on tour with Nas, and cutting for Survivor's Remorse. And at the time, the season 2 or 3 rolled around, I had my own TV show called Ghost Brothers that I was doing with Dalen, and now we in there. So everything comes full circle. Stay on it. Your time will come. All right, guys. There's so many celebrities that I've have cut in the past, and I'll probably tell you some more stories about those. I'll bring those up because I think that's going to be kind of fun and interesting anyway. When I cut Jamal Crawford, Rod Strickland, when I cut LeBron, when I cut Dame Lillard, when I cut Klay Thompson for the finals every year, when I cut Steph Curry for the 3-point shooting contest in New York. When I got a whole bunch of stories that are just like, yo, man, these are amazing. Like being on a yacht with Nas in Australia. So it's been a blessing, man. My life has been a blessing. And the only reason why I can definitely say it's been a blessing is because I've had Christina with me the whole time, man. Shouts out to her. She's been the one who's built my career when y'all saw Barber Star for the first time, is because she got the shirt made for me while I was doing other stuff in the mall, because I got it at the kiosk. It said Barber. It looked like the barbershop logo of the movie, the barbershop logo of the movie. But I just took shop off and I put stars. That's gonna go crazy. Gonna go crazy. And yeah, man, what I would say is that people have always, had a different level of respect for me because they see how I treat Christina. They see how I am with Christina. They see how me and her love extends further and further than anything we've ever seen. So yeah, man, stay in love, stay positive, work through it, build through it, build through it. It takes a lot, but build through it. Yeah. And that's what we have for this season. Tap in for us, man. Tap in this season. We have so many dope episodes. All the people that I've talked to, celebrities, I'm talking to some of those friends of their celebrities, their barbers. So people like Hawk, we just talked to, Donato Smith, Jay Majors, Vince Garcia, Steak Cakes, Johnny Steak Cakes, man. He out here winning. So we'll be having conversations of Jay-Z and Nas's barber talking about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z and Pharrell's barber. D Wade and Nas's barber talking. That I just like that because we all have so many great experiences, and I know that you guys want to hear what these experiences were. So you get to see a different level of all the people that are doing these amazing cuts and all the people who are getting these amazing cuts. So if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, like, share. Suprema, you already know what we're doing, man. We're putting you into the next level. Self-care in your hands, man. If you're looking for a place to grow, come to Suprema, man. The first online barbershop where high-end barbers and high-end clientele find each other. This is the most amazing shop that we've ever had in the world because it has all the amazing barbers. It has you. All you got to do is sign up. If you like this podcast, sign up to our Patreon. We have an amazing thing there. We have a great community there in Circle. You're going to love it. We do things where we're talking about, we critique each other's work, not to put us down, but to help us get sharper. Iron sharpens iron, as we said before. We give each other business guidance, business help, strategies to how to build your brand and build your network higher and stronger. We are here to assist you. We're your concierge for all greatness. That's what we do. Sign up to Suprema, man. Be a part of the network. Be a part of the community. Come check us out. Like, subscribe, and share. All those things. You already know.